Hello, friends. You've stumbled across a short clip from the Daily Switch 2 podcast, which, believe it or not, is a podcast that is about the Switch 2 with new episodes released daily. What will they think of next? What on earth could be the other two games that Nintendo have published? You're scratching your head thinking, I haven't heard of any other major games coming from Nintendo. Well, they're counting the Nintendo Switch 2 editions of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Legends of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Okay, so Breath of the Wild, obviously it's an action-adventure game. Some people call Zelda games RPGs, but many people say they're not. We could say action RPG, or we'll just say action-adventure game, because I think that's how Nintendo likes to frame them. Developed by Nintendo, published by Nintendo, obviously. Is it a system exclusive? Obviously not. Breath of the Wild was originally developed as a Wii U game, and it was released as basically the last major game on the Wii U. And just like Twilight Princess before it, it was released simultaneously or within a week on two systems at the same time, the system that was on the way out and the brand new system. So yes, it was a Wii U game, but predominantly people played it on the Switch, and people think of it as a Switch game. Therefore, this game came out years ago now. I'm sure everybody who's interested in it has played it already. But if you haven't, or if you're looking for an excuse to replay it now, Nintendo really wants you to buy it again for the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm going to make a separate video on the Zelda games releasing for the Switch 2 with Switch 2 editions, including Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and the two kind of top-down games as well, Link's Awakening Remade and Echoes of Wisdom. I think there's a lot of interesting things to say about the improvements and the little things that have been added. But for now, the cost of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Nintendo Switch 2 edition is $70. That's pretty steep, in my opinion. Yes, it's not 80. It's not 80 like Mario Kart World, but it's $70. Here's the rub. You can, if you own the Nintendo Switch 1 version, just upgrade for $10. Okay, so that's good. That's good. We like that. But if you want a physical edition, and there is a physical edition, a new Switch 2 exclusive physical edition that comes in a physical box that you can keep on your shelf, it's going to cost you $70. Or if you don't own the original Nintendo Switch version, for example, if you're buying a Switch 2 and you didn't own a Switch 1 in the first place, it's going to cost you $70 up front, which for an old game, I mean, that seems steep to me. And as far as the physical version, there's a couple of things that annoy me. The first thing that annoys me is these Switch 2 edition versions, the cover art is really ugly, man. They put huge disclaimers on the front, a huge amount of text and logos to make people know, yes, this is a Switch 1 game, but no, this is an upgraded version, and yes, it will only work on the Switch 2, and they just, to me, it ruins the look of the cover, having all of that extra text and warnings and logos and stuff all over the front. It's not great, is it? I hope they change that over time, because, I mean, if it had nicer box art, then ideally it would just be, okay, well, this is the ultimate version. You can get rid of your Switch 1 version and maybe sell it, and get the Switch 2 version, and you've got the ultimate version on your shelf. Honestly, as far as just hold it in your hand and to look at it, the Switch 1 version is like so much nicer than the Switch 2 version. But you might want the Switch 2 version to match all your other Switch 2 games. I don't know. It's not ideal. It's not how I would have chosen these Switch 2 edition games to look at all. But at least it does include the game on the cart. It's not a key card. Ish. Asterisk. Because, can you believe, at $70, it doesn't include the DLC. So, what should have been a slam dunk of the Ultimate Edition of Breath of the Wild, absolutely one of the best games of all time, and this is the best version of it, it's incomplete. It doesn't come with the DLC. And what are Nintendo doing? It's standard in the video game industry. Standard that when an old but well-regarded game is re-released, especially for a new system, especially remastered, obviously you include all of the DLC, all of the updates. Like Game of the Year editions. I can't think of a single example, genuinely can't think of a single example where an old game has been re-released for the next generation system and it hasn't included all of the DLC. Especially not at full price. Almost every time an old game is remastered and re-released, it comes out cheaper. Nintendo is the only company that ups the price every single time. Luigi's Mansion 2, $20 more expensive than it should have been. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, $40 more expensive than the Wii U version. It's ridiculous, but we as fans keep buying them, and therefore they get away with it. But I tell you what, I'm not going to buy Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Switch 2 edition. I'm just not. I mean, I probably will buy the $10 upgrade, yes, but to have a separate physical version, the box is kind of ugly, and it doesn't include the DLC on the cart. No, I just... it's not worth it. For me, it's not worth it. But as I said, we'll do a deep dive on the Zelda games separately. If you've never played Zelda Breath of the Wild before, you're new to the Nintendo ecosystem, is it a good game? Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Breath of the Wild is considered one of the best games of all time. There's obviously $70 worth of value there. I'm not saying it's a bad game, and I'm not saying that you won't enjoy it, but for long-term fans, it kind of feels like an insult. It kind of feels laughable and like we're being milked, and no, I'm just not going to pay it. Next up, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Again, action-adventure, published by Nintendo, developed by Nintendo. Is it a system exclusive? No, because it's available on the Switch 1. Is there a physical? Yes, and everything's included on the cartridge. There's no problem this time with DLC because there's not Tears of the Kingdom DLC. It's going to cost you $10 if you want to upgrade your previous Switch 1 version. Yeah, okay, great. I think the upgrade prices, I would have preferred that the upgrades for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom were free, but at $10 each, I don't think you can argue with what they include. But again, I'll go into the extra functionality and stuff in a separate video. Again, Tears of the Kingdom, it's a very good game. Is it as good as Breath of the Wild? That's a debate. That's a debate to be had. Personally, if you've never played either, I would go in with Breath of the Wild first, and then afterwards, if you really love Breath of the Wild and you finished it, I would say get Tears of the Kingdom if you want more, because it basically takes the... You already know this. It takes the existing game and puts extra content on top of it and adds new mechanics which are essentially game-breaking, but really, really funny to mess around with and to just have fun in the world that you already know because you've spent like 100 hours in the first game. The price is $80. Just like Mario Kart World is $80, the price of Tears of the Kingdom Nintendo Switch 2 edition is $80. I said $70 for Breath of the Wild seems extortionate. $80 is even worse. I kind of understand where they're coming from because the price for the Switch 1 version was $70. It was the only Switch 1 game that cost $70. For some reason, they decided it should be $10 more expensive than everything else. So now they're adding the $10 upgrade fee and they're making it $80. To me, that is absolute extortion. But again, as I said with Breath of the Wild and as I said with Mario Kart Tour, is there $80 worth of entertainment there? Yeah, absolutely. Of course. You're going to play it for tens of hours, maybe hundreds of hours. There's value there. It's just, I don't like this new pricing model. I don't like it at all. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is going to take up 24.1 gigabyte on your system if you decide to go for the digital download version. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is going to cost you 20.1 gigabytes, slightly less space, which is surprising because it's arguably a bigger game. But you probably aren't going to worry about those 24 and 20 gigabyte downloads if you are the kind of person who's buying the physical copies, because the physical copies do contain the game on the system. But as I said, the Breath of the Wild does not include the DLC, so if you decide to buy the DLC and download it, it will take up extra space. Well, that was funny / sad / informative / stupid, wasn't it? Feel free to mentally redact to make that make sense with the clip that you just heard. I don't know what it was. I'm just recording a bumper. But if you enjoyed the clip, please give it a like. If you'd like to hear more, click subscribe, and you can find all the ways to listen to and support the full daily podcast at linktree/dailyswitch2. That's linktr.ee/dailyswitch2. Let's go! Did I sound like I mean that? I do. I really do.